Children, stay safely at home. The next topic is electric potential energy. Alright, very important concept. Get the concept first. Alright, so suppose you have kept a plus Q charge here. Then you see due to it an electric field will be created. So if you take a point A here, then what will happen? There will be an electric potential at the point A, that is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by R. Isn't it? Because I have taken plus Q charge. Now, what is the electric potential energy? So, what is the meaning of electric potential? Meaning of electric potential is that if you bring plus 1 coulomb charge from infinity to this point, then this is the work done. Alright. So, electric potential, if you consider, then electric potential is the characteristics of that particular point. Electric field, when we are talking about, electric field is the characteristics of that particular point. Alright, if you change the point, then what will happen? Potential at that point will change. Clear? Now, suppose you have done, you are bringing Q0 charge from infinity and you are keeping here. Then what you will do? When you are bringing the Q0 charge, you are the external agency. Alright, and when you are trying to bring Q0, then you see plus Q continuously repelling the charge. So, if you want to bring and keep the charge at this position, then you need to do certain amount of work done against this electrostatic repulsive force. So, who is doing the work? You are doing the work. And on whom you are doing the work? You are doing the work on charge Q0. Alright. So, I have already given you this example. So, this example that mom is cooking at home. Alright. Mom is doing work and mom is feeding you. Alright. Now, if you consider the work and energy, what is happening? When mom is doing work, alright, and mom is feeding you, then mom is doing work on you and you are, by getting the food, you are gaining energy. Isn't it? So you see, when the external agency, mom, your mom is doing work on you, then who is gaining the energy? You are gaining the energy. Is that clear? Means work done is stored within the system. Alright. So exactly in the same manner here also, when you are bringing the charge Q0 from infinity, keeping it here, maintaining its position at a distance R, then you are doing certain amount of work on the charge. Is that clear? So as a result, what will happen? This system of charge, they will gain some energy. That is known as electrostatic potential energy. Means work done by you, work done by the external agency against the electrostatic repulsive force will be stored as the potential energy within the charge system. Alright, so you can write down what is the potential energy. For potential energy we use the term Q. What will be the potential energy of the charge Q0? You see VA multiplied by Q0, isn't it? Because VA is the work done to bring unit positive charge. You have brought Q naught amount of charge. So what will be the total energy stored, or what will be the work done? In doing this, it will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q naught divided by R. So this is the expression for the electrostatic potential energy and concept of potential energy. Alright. So here you see in the system of charges, we have taken only two charges, plus Q and Q naught. So what will be the energy? It will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q naught divided by R. Clear? Now, consider this system, that suppose you are having a system of charges like this, Q1, Q2 and Q3. This is the system of charge. Alright. Then you want to calculate what is the potential energy. Then how to calculate? Just understand it. First of all, you have to keep the charge. You want to construct this system of charges. So first of all, you will bring Q1 and keep it here. So to bring Q1, how much is the work done? 0. Why? Because there is no other charges present here. There is no electric field. So you do not have to do any amount of work done. So work done is 0. Now, in presence of plus Q1, when you will bring plus Q2 and keep it here at the point B. And let us consider the distance between Q1 and Q2 is R12. Is that clear? Then what will happen? Definitely you have to do certain amount of work done to bring the charge Q2 and to place it at the point P. So how much will be the work done? Work done will be potential at the point B due to charge at A multiplied by Q2. Yes or not? Potential at the point B is the work done to bring unit positive charge. Now you have brought and kept Q2 charge. So how much will be the work done? Potential at that point where you are keeping multiplied by the charge you are keeping at that point. Okay. So how much it is coming? You just look at the diagram. What is the potential at the point B? Potential is due to Q1. Q1 is the source charge. So it will be Q1 divided by the distance. Distance I have written as R12. So it is R12 into Q2. Why I have written R12? Apply your common sense. You can understand. Because R12 is the distance between the charge 1 and charge 2. So I have named it as R12. So what will be the work done? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 by R12 into Q2. Alright. Now suppose you have brought the third charge Q3 here and keeping at the point C. Alright. Then you need to do certain amount of work. So how much will be the work done? W3. You see, you can write W3 as potential at the point C multiplied by charge Q3. Yes or not? Because potential at the point C will give you the measure of work done to bring unit positive charge, and you are bringing charge Q3. So it will be Vc into Q3. Once again, Vc you can write it as potential at the point C will be due to charge at A plus due to charge at B. So you can write Vc as Vca plus Vcb into Q3. Now how much is Vca? Look at the diagram. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Vca. So source charge is Q1. Now distance between A and C, you can name it. Please join it by a straight line. Distance between A and C, you can name it as R13. Distance between B and C, you can name it as R32 or 23 also you can write. So it is becoming Q1 divided by R13 plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. At the point B, how much charge you have kept? Q2. So that is the source charge divided by the distance. Distance is R32 into Q3. Alright. So you see, this is the work done to bring the first charge. This is the work done to bring the second charge and keep it at this position at the point B. And this is the work done to bring and keep the charge Q3 at the point C. So what will be the potential energy of the system of charges? It will be the work done to bring all the charges from infinity and to set there at the respective positions. Isn't it? So you see how you can write what is the potential energy of the system. It will be W1 plus W2 plus W3. So I am just making it short. If you substitute it 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, you can take common. Then you see you can write it as Q1 Q2 divided by R12 plus Q1 Q3 divided by R13 plus Q2 Q3 divided by R23 or 32, anything you can write. Is that clear? So you see you can write it as sigma 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, you can take it common. Sigma I, sigma j, then it will be Qi Qj divided by Rij into half. Into half it will be. Alright. Why into half? Because you see the summation, the meaning of this sigma, I hope you have learnt in mathematics. Without math, physics cannot work. So sigma ij means summation, isn't it? So here you see there are two variables, I and j. Okay. So I will vary from 1 to n and j will vary from 1 to n. Means here we have done it for 3 charges. Instead of 3 charges, if there are n number of charges, then what you can do, you can write it as 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught sigma I equal to 1 n, j equal to 1 n, qi qj rij. Now why I have written this half term, understand it. You see, how you expand this, I will take you as 1, then j you will vary from 1 to n. Okay, just I am taking j as n as 4. Then you see I will be 1, then j will be 1 to 4. Is that clear? Then what is happening? Just you see, and one more point here, I should not be equal to j. Alright, because I equal to j means r 1 1 it is coming, but we are not considering the term. So I and j, they should not be taken as equal. So here you see I 1, so j cannot be 1, so it will be, j will be 2 3 4. So you see what are you getting? 1 2, then 1 3, then you are getting 1 4. Understood what I said? Now when you will expand this way, then you will see 1 2 term will come once, again the same term will come as 2 1. Means it will be q1 q2 by r12 and then it will be q1 q2 by r21. But as you know, r12 and r21, they are the same term. So every term will occur twice in this expansion. So that's why the half term is introduced. Alright, if your antenna is unable to catch it, there is no problem. This one you don't have to apply, just remember simply this, because we are utilizing the concept only, we will solve the numericals. That how to calculate the electrostatic potential energy of system of charges, you calculate individually the work done to bring every charges and keeping them at their respective position. Then you, what you have to do, you add the entire work done, or you can remember this relation, because in board exam you will not get the very difficult question, but in competitive exam, as you know, you may get anything. So for competitive exam, this relation you have to remember, but for board exam, till this point you can learn and remember. So this is the concept of electrostatic potential energy. Now as we know that electric field, you can write it as minus dV dr, isn't it? Now, what is the concept of electric field? It is the force experienced by unit positive charge. Like that, when you are considering as potential, then it is the work done to bring unit positive charge. So, instead of unit positive charge, if you bring any amount of charge, then instead of electric field, you can write down the force experienced by the charge, and instead of potential, you can write down that is the potential energy of the system. So you see F is equal to minus du dr. So F is minus du dr. It is actually coming from this relation. This relation is for unit positive charge and this relation for any amount of charge. Okay. Now next concept is equipotential surface. Now equipotential surface, from the name only one can make out the surface on which at every point potential is equal. Now definition of equipotential surface, it comes as 1 mark question in board exam. So you must learn it. What is equipotential surface? So what is equipotential surface? The surface on which potential is 0 at every point. Alright. Or one can say potential is not 0, potential is same at every point, and potential difference is 0 between any 2 points on the equipotential surface. So I repeat, what is equipotential surface? The surface on which at every point electric potential is same or equal or constant, or the potential difference at any 2 points, among any 2 points, is 0. Means you can write equipotential surface means potential constant or potential difference 0. Is that clear? The surface on which potential constant and potential difference 0 is known as the equipotential surface. Alright. Now this equipotential surface is a very favorite topic of the examiners and very easy topic, easy to score. So that's why those who are having the numerical phobia, you must learn this topic properly. Okay. So first you will learn what is the definition of equipotential surface, then what are the characteristics of equipotential surface. Alright. Now if you want the equipotential surface, then this is also another point you have to understand it, that suppose you are having a point charge. Then you see, as we know, for a point charge, potential is given by Q by R. That's why if you consider the concentric circles or concentric spheres, then on the sphere at every point potential will be equal. So for a point charge, what is the equipotential surface? Equipotential surface are concentric spheres, and the spheres you have to take in such a manner that at the center the source charge should be situated. Then second point regarding the equipotential surface. On the equipotential surface, if you suppose you have taken one equipotential surface, a sphere as I said, now you are taking one charge from the point A to B. Alright, so if you want to take the charge from the point A or A to B, then how much it will be? Potential difference multiplied by the charge taken, isn't it? So what is the potential difference on the equipotential surface? 0. So how much work is done? 0. So that is the second characteristics of the equipotential surface. So what is the second characteristics of the equipotential surface? That no work is done to move one charge from one point to other on the equipotential surface. Alright, you may get several conceptual questions also on the second characteristics. Alright, so you must learn the second characteristics. As I said, that no work is done to move any charge on an equipotential surface. Then the third, the most important point regarding the equipotential surface. On an equipotential surface, electric field is perpendicular to the equipotential surface. Always on electric field is perpendicular to the equipotential surface. Alright, why it is so? You know that E is equal to minus dV dr. Is that clear? So here you see dV is 0. So dV is 0 means what? How much E is coming? E is coming 0, isn't it? So when you are considering the equipotential surface, then dV is 0. That's why E is coming 0. But E cannot be 0 always. So you just consider this case, that suppose there is a equipotential surface. Now if the electric field is perpendicular to it, then electric field has no function, no component along the surface. Yes or not? You know, for a vector, the vector has no component perpendicular to it. Alright, so you see, if electric field is perpendicular, then only it will not have any component along the surface, so it will not be able to do any work. isn't it? So what is happening, that electric field is always perpendicular to the equipotential surface. Alright, very important factor. So that's why if you consider a conductor, then what is the direction of the electric field? Electric field is perpendicular to that point. Clear? So this is the relation. This is the third and most important characteristics of the equipotential surface. Then next one is, if you consider that equipotential surfaces, that potential surfaces are crowded at any place, they are very close to each other. What does it indicate? It indicates that electric field is strong in that region. And if you consider that potential equipotential surfaces are far away from each other at any place, it indicates that electric field is weaker in that region. Alright, so these are all characteristics of the equipotential surface. So I am reminding you, the second and third one is very important. What is that? That work done on the equipotential surface to move a charge from one point to other is 0. Another one, electric field is always perpendicular to the equipotential surface. Then another important point is that two equipotential surfaces cannot intersect each other. Alright, why it cannot intersect each other? Just understand it. You know that electric field intensity, actually what does it give? Electric field intensity gives you number of electric lines of force crossing unit area perpendicularly. Alright, so and another point is that for a equipotential surface, electric field is always perpendicular to it. So you see, if the two equipotential surface intersect each other, then you see you are getting two direction of the electric field at that point, which is not possible. Alright, so what happens? No two equipotential surfaces intersect each other. So this point is also important. You must learn and remember it. That equipotential surfaces do not intersect each other. Why equipotential surfaces do not intersect each other? Because if they intersect each other, then as electric field is perpendicular to any equipotential surface, so you will get two perpendicular. You can draw two perpendicular to the two equipotential surfaces. Means at one point you are getting two direction of the electric field intensity, which is not possible. That's why what you can say, that equipotential surfaces never intersect each other.